Tribe to Village, and today we have Stephany Martelly, a certified personal trainer and yoga instructor, to talk about the successful health and wellness journey. Hi, Stephany.
Hi, Trisha. How are you?
Great. Thank you for joining us. Now,
Yes.
Stephany, we want to know, did you come out the womb drinking protein shakes, lifting weights, and doing yoga? Or was there a process to reach your healthiest state?
Yeah, so no, I did not come out the womb assuming and drinking protein shakes and being really healthy. No, my childhood was actually much different. I grew up like in a very traditional Haitian home, eating everything, making sure like, I finish my plate and do what I'm supposed to do as a child.
You were eating all
But
the banan, huh?
Yeah, no, everything really. Banan, the chicken, the goat, the pork, everything was, but also it was really good. That was my family's tradition. So but slowly but surely, like as my weight started to gain over the years, I wanted to make a change, and that's why we're here today.
Perfect. So you hear that? She's like the rest of us. It was a journey, right?
Yes.
So, Stephany, you said that you grew up with all this good food and all of that. So, what inspired you to make a change in your health?
So yeah, when I was around like 24 years old, I think that was when I was at like my heaviest state. And just from a perspective, I'm 33 now, so much like it was a long time ago when I started. So at 24, I was coming home one day, like just taking my normal flight up the stairs, and it was the normal day coming home from work. And I took that normal flight of stairs, and I had to stop in the middle to breathe. And at that moment, I had never had that happen to me before. I thought like my heart was going to stop. It felt like I couldn't breathe. Everything was just like in full panic mode. So
at 24 years old.
Yeah. So at that time, I said the next day, like, I'm throwing out everything processed in my fridge. I am going to start afresh. I immediately started changing my diet, taking yoga classes online. And yeah, the story begins from there.
Wow. And, I love that you said that you started when you were 24 and you're 33 now. So it reminds us that taking our health journey is not a quick fix. It's not like today you decide, okay, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to exercise, and then tomorrow I'm like healthy and 15 pounds lighter. So thank you for sharing that. That was a journey. And it took a long time, or is continuously taking its time. So during that journey, Stephany, during all those years, was it smooth sailing, or did you have setbacks?
Oh no, there was like, it was up and down all the time. Because you have things in your life that you're going through, and you're experiencing changes, whether it be with family. My dad was sick at the time. I was taking care of him right up until he passed that same year. So that was also a driving factor behind, I want to be healthy. I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing so that when I eventually have kids one day, I can be there for them. Things like that. Or if your job changes, or your friends around you change, all of that kind of affects how you go about your food and how you go about your daily stresses and what you choose to eat that day. If you're always going out, are you making the right choices when you go out? Are you cooking less at home because, you feel pressured to go out? There's so many different things that can make you go up and down. But for me, I had several stresses between like losing family members, changing jobs, changing where I was living as well. Like sometimes the community that you live in doesn't have the best food choices at the supermarket. So you're, forced to eat takeout.
Food deserts. I think they call them food deserts.
Exactly.
So Stephany, how did you deal with not being an emotional eater? How did you combat that?
Well,
that's hard for me.
To put it simply, it's still a battle, right? Like, whether you lose weight or you are heavy or wherever you are in your journey, something can set you back. A big breakup, losing someone in your life, not having the same financial situation that you've always been used to, that can all turn into emotional eating or emotional distress, and also add on to what you're eating, right? So I think the biggest things that I've used to combat that is discipline, and creating like a plan for myself, which
A
is not very
plan.
easy to do. Yeah, it's not easy.
Wait,
Like,
can we just say this, a plan? Because I know that's what I struggle with.
yeah.
So you wrote down your plan?
I wrote down things that I knew didn't make me feel good after eating them. Right. So for instance, I was a heavy meat eater, and at a certain point, like eating steak and pork chops and stuff like that just was disagreeing with my body. Like my body just didn't like it. Or I would feel kind of sick afterwards. And before, I would used to think like, oh, I'm okay, like it'll pass. But when your body's telling you like, hey, I didn't really like what you just ate, you got to listen. So I started writing down the certain foods that weren't agreeing with my body. And then also the dairy was also like a big thing for me. So I just started to slowly chip away some of the things that just weren't working. And I also tried several different diets. You name it, I tried it.
Keto,
Yes.
intermittent fasting. Which one did you do?
So I started out raw vegan, then I was just vegan, then vegetarian, and this is starting back in 2014. And I was vegetarian, and then that period of time was about 6 months of trying those 3 different diets. Then I went back to being pescatarian, and then not having dairy fully, and just like trying different things. I did juicing for a bit. I still do intermittent fasting as a cycle now, to kind of detox the body and like reset the organs a little bit. Sometimes your body needs to go through a period of fasting to get back to its normal cycle of being able to digest food properly. So like things like that, you just have to like, there's no one size fit all for meal plans. Like people always look for something that's going to be like the end result. Like, oh, I saw someone try keto. Like I saw that they had really good results. I know it's going to work for me. And that's not what happened with me. I tried everything and I was just like, yeah, no, nothing's working. Until now, I kind of figured out a secret sauce for myself. And it could be relatable for others in my situation, but or in a similar situation, but it's also not the end all be all. So
yes, everything is tailored specifically to who you are as a person and what your specific needs are and how your body reacts.
Exactly.
So which diet plan works for you?
Very minimal dairy in my diet, because you know sometimes you go out and you want to have a slice of pizza or something, like you can't cheat yourself of the things that you actually like. But right now I'm mainly a vegetarian and some pescatarian in my diet. And then I just don't allow myself to just cut out all the things that I like. So in terms of like going out to eat with my friends, I just make sure that I have like smarter choices when I choose something on the menu.
That brings us back to balance, right?
Yes.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, I would hear that in addition to, you know, what we know, exercise, mindfulness is a huge part of a health and wellness journey.
Absolutely. Being mindful, but then also doing things with intent, right? I think sometimes we step into the kitchen, we're just like, oh, okay, I'm just hungry. Let me just throw anything into my mouth. Are you actually enjoying what you're eating? Do you taste all of the ingredients? Do you smell the aromas? Are you like, I'm actually taking the time now to cook more at home and try different recipes and see what my body receives well and what it doesn't, and still going back to that original place where I was like, oh, dairy and meat didn't make me feel good. What, even though I'm vegetarian mostly now, do I still feel good eating certain things that they claim to be super healthy, right? Like, because the grocery stores will label everything in the book and say, yeah, go ahead, gluten-free and this and all that. And
organic.
And you want to make sure that like your body feels loved too, right? Like not just because you love the food, but make sure that your body loves it.
Yes. So Stephany, how much weight have you lost since you started your journey?
So I started around 215, nearly 220 in weight and 220 pounds. I'm a solid 140 pounds now.
Wow. Wow. But you know what? The losing weight is a plus, but that, like you said, that wasn't your driving force for your journey. The driving force of your journey was to be healthier so that you're around longer.
Yeah.
So what else, what other benefits did you experience besides the losing weight part?
Oh, a significant amount.
Mhm.
And what you don't realize is like at that heavy of a state of carrying weight, and just for reference, I'm only 5 feet tall. So carrying 220 pounds of weight at that height, according to BMI charge, it means I'm obese, right? So some of the changes were, especially as a woman, not experiencing heavy cramping during my periods or like having significant headaches just
Wow.
out of the blue. My vision got better. I naturally felt lighter as I was walking, and I didn't have any knee problems anymore. My heart wasn't racing all day. Like I thought these were normal things that people go through, and it just wasn't. Like as soon as things like started to dissipate and disappear, I was like, oh, is this how I'm supposed to feel? Like,
Oh my
so
goodness.
there were like small little wins along the way. And people think that like you're going to experience that in a month or 2 months, and it takes years.
I thank you for keeping it real. It takes years. It's a process. And I love that you shared all the other benefits that you got while on your journey to becoming a healthier you. Because some of us, you know, we might not be motivated by weight. We're like, we think we look good the weight that we're in, but it's doing so much damage to our internal state, to our mental health, our emotional health. So thank you for bringing all of that together for us.
Of course. Yeah. For some people, the weight is a big thing in terms of like seeing the number change on the scale, but that number can change with surgery. You still feel healthy on the inside by doing like all these different processes to your body, taking supplements, quick fix fad diets, stuff like that. And I say the slower the process, the longer the results last.
We should write that down.
Yeah. I might write it down myself. So.
Yeah, because that's right. They say that you lose the weight quick, and you also gain it back quick.
Yeah, I'll also say one other benefit was my skin as well. When I was heavier, I used to experience much more hormonal acne. I don't really have any makeup on right now, just to give you a preference. Like I don't have anything really.
Okay, natural beauty.
So, but yeah, no, literally, my skin was like terrible in terms of acne and hyperpigmentation, and all of that kind of disappeared as the diet changed and like the weight started falling off.
Wow. And I know you said hormonal changes because of the foods that you were eating and just your overall journey, but also that will impact your mood, right? Probably you're less frustrated, less irritated by other people and things.
Mood plays a big part, and how you wake up in the morning. I was pretty sluggish before my diet changes, or relied on the alarm a lot. Now I naturally wake up a lot more, with more energy.
So Stephany, what kind of tips could you give those of us who are couch potatoes? It's hard to get off the couch. It's hard to get started.
I would say, especially if you don't have a lot of things around you, like you don't have to like start buying all these different pieces of equipment and filling up your home with expensive stuff, right? If there is a way for you to go for a walk in the middle of the day, or just like even getting up and doing some stretches, right, during the day, it'll start to just give the body some movement, and also free you from the typical day-to-day work, the responsibilities maybe with your family and stuff like that, clearing your head. But I would recommend at least 30 minutes of a walk outside. Simple as that. Like, and if it's super cold where you are, nothing complicated, but if it's super cold where you are, doing some stretches in the home just to
Mhm.
get the body moving, getting some mobility through the joints and stuff like that will definitely help increase your
And that's
mood.
Yeah, that's extremely important, especially since we're still in the remote work life to do some
Yes.
stretches. Do you have like a little, since you're a yoga instructor and all, do you have like a little quick stretch that we could do maybe while we're seated in front of the computer doing work?
Yeah, there's a couple of movements I actually like doing, especially since when I'm home, I feel like a little bit hunched over
Mhm.
or my shoulders feel a little cramped.
Yes.
So what I like to do is I'll just like sit back just a little bit here. But what I like to do is just kind of pull back away from the computer, maybe even turn it off,
Mhm.
and then lengthening my arms out in front of me, right? And taking the left hand, you're going to pull the right fingertips back towards you. Yep. And then you'll feel that gentle stretch like in your forearm and in your elbows and stuff like that. And holding this for about 10 seconds, right?
That feels really good.
Right on the wrists, because we're always typing all day. And then
Yeah.
switching sides and pulling back on
Hmm.
the other side. Very simple movements that can help you just relieve the wrists.
Mm.
And then just staying seated in your chair, you can have your hands, you can cross the right hand over to your left thigh, right? And then
Mhm.
twist towards the right, sending your left arm towards the right, and just trying to reach over your right shoulder, just feeling a little bit of a twist in your hips, maybe even grabbing your right shoulder with that left hand, and then
Mhm.
looking over the right shoulder.
Oh, that
Feeling
feels
a
so good.
Yeah. So sometimes people can't reach the shoulder right away. So I try not to make people feel a little, but we could try to do the other side. So left hand grabbing your right thigh, reaching your right arm towards the left shoulder and looking that way. And then if you can, grab that right shoulder and twist and look over that left
Wow, you feel
side.
a lot of tension just release from you don't
Yeah.
even realize how tense your body gets.
Yeah. And sometimes it's as simple as giving yourself a hug as well. So like really
Mhm,
drawing the elbows in front of you, grabbing both shoulders after you do both of those stretches. Your
mhm,
arms feel a little looser, you feel a little bit more lengthened. But yeah,
mhm.
those are like little things that you can do as you separate yourself from the screen.
Oh, Stephanie, love it. Thank you so much for all those tips and thank you for sharing your journey and thank you for inspiring us to be the healthiest version of ourselves.
No problem, Trisha. Thank you for inviting me and allowing me to share this and be vulnerable. And not everybody is always this open to doing these kinds of things. And I love that we're spreading positivity and helping others that may be in a similar situation feel ready and able to kind of like go after it as well.
Yes, definitely. And I will include Stephanie's Instagram handle in the description if you want to follow her and just stay tuned for all the great things that she has planned in the future.
Yes, please stay tuned. It's all coming.
Yes. So let's continue to elevate and grow together. Until next time. Bye.